Chapter 1. God loves the gates of Zion. Why does the Lord say he loves the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob? Psalm 87, verse 2. We may find the reason assigned by the Lord himself. But you shall seek the place where the Lord your God chooses, out of all your tribes, to put his name for his dwelling place, and there you shall go. Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 5. The gates of Zion was the place that the Lord had chosen for his name to dwell, as the following words explain, the place of his worship. There will be the place where the Lord your God chooses to make his name abide. There you shall bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, the heave offerings of your hand, and all your choice offerings which you vow to the Lord. Verse 11. For the temple was built on, or near to, the hill of Zion. And this, you know, was in particular the settled place of his worship. It was the Lord's delight in and affection for his worship, for which he is said to love the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. But it may be replied that the Lord had worship not only in the gates of Zion, in the temple, but also in the dwellings of Jacob. We cannot suppose that all the posterity of Jacob would neglect the worship of God in their families. No doubt, the faithful among them resolved with Joshua, "Me and my house, we will serve the Lord." Joshua chapter 24, verse 15. Since, therefore, the worship of God was to be found in both, how can this worship be the reason why one should be preferred before the other? Surely, on no other account but this. The worship of God in the gates of Zion was public. His worship in the dwellings of Jacob was private, so that, in short, the Lord may be said to love the gates of Zion before all the dwellings of Jacob, because he prefers public worship before private. He loved all the dwellings of Jacob wherein he was worshipped privately, but the gates of Zion he loved more than all the dwellings of Jacob, for there he was publicly worshipped. Hence, we have a clear ground for the following observation. Public worship is to be preferred before private. So it is by the Lord, so it should be by his people. So it was under the law, so it must be under the gospel. Public worship under the Old and New Covenants. Indeed, there is a difference between the public worship under the law and under the gospel in respect of a circumstance, namely, the place of public worship. Under the law, the place of public worship was holy, but we have no reason to think of any place of public worship under the gospel in this way. And this will be manifest if we both inquire what were the grounds of that legal holiness in the tabernacle or temple, and also observe that none of those grounds can be applied to any place of worship under the gospel. One ground is that the temple and tabernacle were set apart and separated for a holy use by the special, express command of God. Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 13 through 14. But there is no such command for setting apart any place under the gospel. Worship is necessary, but the place where it occurs is indifferent, undetermined. It is left to human prudence to choose what place may be most convenient. We find no obliging rule, but that in general, let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40. Men's consecrations cannot make that holy which God's institution does not sanctify. A second ground is that the temple was a part of the ceremonial worship under the law, but there is no such ceremonial worship under the gospel, much less is there any place that is a part of gospel worship. Therefore, there is no such holiness in any place now like in the temple then. Third is that the temple itself was a means of grace, of worship under the law. It was in and through the temple that the Lord communicated to his people many mysteries of religion and godliness,